see if this worked. Should be live, and hopefully the audio is not of terrible fidelity. I am using a webcam as the microphone. I'm gonna say some more things and see how they come out. Let me try this. What is it using as the microphone is terrible, really terrible. I need to find. I need to get a better microphone. I don't know if I have anything sitting around that'll suffice. Maybe something. I don't know. Did I have any microphones around? Do I have any headsets? I might have a headset. Let me see. I do have a headset. And this should work. The quality should be, it's not going to be stunning. It's going to be a lot better than what I'm working with right now. Okay, let's see if it gets detected. Setting up device. Okay, I do not want the testing. I would assume that this audio quality is going to be a lot better. Oh, it totally is. It's way better. It's so much way better. Okay, well, maybe someone will stop in and maybe they won't. That's fine. I'm just gonna ramble. I thought I would talk about it. This is like the perennial thing where every 2 years now I make a video about some general vague update, and then a year after that, and then like the 2 months after that, I post a bunch, and then I kind of disappear again. So this time I'm doing it as a stream, and that's because I've had an inspiration recently to just post something, make something. I've felt like I need to have something, like if I'm going to post something, like I feel like it needs to conform to some standard of either the content or the format or the quality. And while I would like that to be the case for regular how-to type video uploads, I think there's nothing really stopping me from making a much more informal type of live stream. So that's what I'm going to do. And the big things today is I have a few small Lego sets that I've acquired that I want to part out. And yeah, I'm just going to part these out and sort them. Got that little dog from Creator This, which I think was, oh, I don't even remember. Eternals? Is that what it's called? It was like a Marvel something. It's actually a lot of pretty cool pieces here that I could make decent use of. I don't think I need more of these mixel joints, Definitely don't need more of the long ones, but these individual ball with pin could make use of that. Some interesting colors of rounded slopes. I don't really think I have sand green 1x3s sitting around, at least not in excess. I don't know if I'll ever make use of these wavy wing type pieces, but a lot of the other pieces here I could certainly make use of. There's like a teal um, bar plate with a bar on it, and a 1x2 clip in dark red, stuff like that. You make a lot of use out of that. And then one other little one from Star Wars. Some pieces here I could make use of. And then I've also got these two containers from Pick a Brick, which I would say I did a pretty immaculate job packing. You can kind of hear some air in there. But the Pick a Brick switched over to using boxes, paper boxes, rather than plastic cylinders. They weren't quite cylinders, they were slightly conical. Um, and I think that's a welcome change. I don't know what the total like volume difference is. That almost certainly the box is a smaller volume, but I would guess it's actually a higher usable volume because of the straight edges. So I packed some pieces pretty elaborately. These two, I might use them someday for posing things. Patted a little bit of filler with 1x1 round plates and packed in some of these small trees. That's pretty nice. Oops, I dropped one of those. Somehow I have the feeling that's not the only piece that's going to be dropped. Should I get it now? Yeah, I suppose I can. But somehow I have a feeling that's not the only piece that's going to be dropped. Usually these 1x1 plates, round plates, I just stack them on top of each other. Okay. Okay. Hold on, this stream thing is complaining something about audio bit rates to me? Yeah, I don't really know what that means, and I don't know, stream audio sounds fine to me, and as I was saying that and looking at it, I dropped a 1x1 plate again. And this time I don't really know where it went, so I'll find it later. Usually I stack these up for storage at a later time though. Got some orange cones in here. You know that I have cones somewhere. I have a lot of, I think, black cones. I think I have a reasonable amount of blue cones. And I probably have at least one orange cone, but I don't think I have that many. So, what will I do with all these? Not sure. But I'm going to pick a brick wall. I kind of just pick pieces that maybe I will hopefully use someday. There's a little bit of wishful thinking involved, and I try and pack things very compactly. Now, realistically, if I valued my time, I would not do the tight packing so much because I could spend like on a little box like this. This probably took me over half an hour, maybe even an hour to pack. And if I valued my time, I would just buy a bigger box and do a worse job packing it. But the best is yet to come. I'm really just picking out little loose things from the top here right now. These cones. All right, let me set them aside. I just want to show how tight this is. There's about a half plate of leeway at the sides of this box, so I even padded it with white tiles, 1x4 tiles, all the way around. And white 1x4 tiles, that's a piece I can make use out of for sure. Probably could make a little more use out of them with black, but white, almost as useful. So that's got to be at least 20 of those things. And then this brick, this is like a work of art. Look at this. You shake this, you can hear that there's something just maybe a little loose in there. That's because there is. So what were the dimensions on this? This is, I think, 11 by 11 plates. Yeah, 11 by 11 plates, and there's a half plate of leeway on the side. And the height is, you might have a plate of height leeway. You could get an extra plate of height leeway, but I went for 16 plates of height. So you could squeeze 17 in there, especially if the top layer were tiled. So let's see what we've got. This piece is basically pure solid. Let's start picking it apart. I do have some brick separators here, which I will probably need later. They are okay at getting off tiles. I think that they're not the best at it, but they're okay. If anything, this end is kind of decent for wedging them up a little bit from the corners. But I may have better luck trying to completely displace the lower layers. I wanted to get some of these pieces in 1x2 at the bar, but because of the way they're shaped, this has to be a tile at the end here. Surprising amount of Lego math going on in my head when I put one of these cubes together. Another tile like this. I don't think I went crazy with the sand blue 1x1s. I think there are some more buried within. And at the top layer, some blue 4x6s. That might be a challenge to get it off. Blue 2x3s. And those are close to load bearing. The rest of this should come apart very easily. Mostly generic bricks, a lot of 2x4s. Never know what you'll need 2x4s for. Oh, I just realized that I've been streaming on unlisted. That's a shame. Maybe someone will show up now. Not going to fret over it. More 1x4s, or 2x4s. This time in blue. Look at this monstrosity of a cube. Hey, Inteleon. How are you? Yeah, I realized I was streaming on unlisted for a few minutes, and as soon as I switched to public, you showed up almost immediately. So welcome. I'm going through some pick-a-brick boxes and slowly disassembling this monstrosity of a compact little cube I built. Hey Josh, what am I building? Not 100% sure. Might build a little bit of stuff later. For now, I'm actually disassembling some pick-a-brick wall cubes. Pick-a-brick. I don't know if this is the case in all stores now, but recently the store near me switched to paper boxes as opposed to plastic cylinders. And there's a little preview of the other one. I don't know if I'll do the other one today. Look at how tightly and compactly you can fill one of these boxes. Look at that. So we got a whole. This is heavy. This is a dense piece of Lego. So I'm kind of taking stock of what these pieces are because I'm not even 100% sure anymore. I don't fully remember. Let's see, what was loosely placed here? Oh, clearly I was doing some kind of architecture under the hood here. Woo! Okay, some stuff fell out. The bottom was held in very loosely, but I hear some of these clips, these plates with the clip, they didn't really fit in any way that wouldn't stick out, so I kind of put them in a portion of the underside that would, where they could just rest loose. And I have some of these claw pieces as well. Large tooth or claw. I think on Bricklink they're described as a barb. Okay. There's so many small new elements. When I even peruse like the Pick a Brick Wall, but anytime I get a modern set or go through Bricklink, like Bricklink Studio, I realize there's so many pieces now where if I had built some of the Pokemon I designed back in the day out of these newer pieces, some of them would look totally different. There's so much greater like variety that I just have access to. Okay, these tiles, let's put them in the tile pile. I do have some builds kind of waiting in limbo. There's a couple things I designed like 2, 3 years ago that I realized I never made a video out of. So I think I was waiting to include them in something maybe a little bigger or longer, and just didn't get around to that. And then there's some newer builds that I need to acquire a couple more parts for. And hopefully some of them I can source from what I'm decomposing today. Corner plates, lots of corner plates. I got some masonry bricks in lavender. I don't know when I'll need that. Hopefully someday it'll be useful. Masonry bricks came out on the scene a few years ago, and I found them to be a very attractive piece, but I've almost never used them. I thought, oh, that's so cool. That'll be really useful. And then I've used maybe like 5 in one build, and just not really ever since. Got more 2x4s than I remembered. I don't even remember what this color's called. Bright light orange or something? Bright orange? No, it can't be bright orange. I think it's bright light orange. Maybe it's like bright yellow orange. I feel like bright was part of the color name, at least according to Bricklink color scheming. We're almost done with this one. This is quicker than I thought. I thought it would take me a long time to get to the bottom of this guy. How many pieces is this? I don't know. I don't have a count, but probably like 150 to 200. It's quite a few. It's quite a few considering several of them were pretty big. Where have I been? Yeah, what have I been up to? Yeah, the problem is that most of my time is just consumed by having a job, and spending it somewhat on other hobbies. I don't. One of the reasons that I'm posting this live stream now, which I already had thought of posting it like a month, close to a month ago by now, probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, is that I realized that I shouldn't let it hold me back from posting and making videos just because I want them to turn out in a certain way. Obviously, I want to have nice high quality videos that I'm proud of, but for when I don't have that level of idea, I feel like um, I shouldn't let that totally prevent me from making any type of video, and I could use like a more casual live stream type format for some of what maybe you could call filler content. Um, so I think the last time I posted a video was probably like 2 full years ago now. And at multiple points in time, I've received encouragement to make more videos. And I was even saying that I haven't made a. There's like builds I have that I wanted to make into a video, and I didn't even include them. Like, let me see. What are the last Lego builds I did? Yeah, okay. So I did Shelter Cloister. I did Paris Parasect. I think those turned out quite well. There's a Kingdra build that I made years ago. Never included that in a video, and like I probably should. I should probably have just made that a one-off. I did Skarmory as a one-off. It's fine. It's fine. It could just be a short video. Ampharos was a one-off. So yeah, it's been like 2 full years. It's been frankly almost 2 years since the Colosseum build, and I have been sitting on the Eiffel Tower set for a while. I do still want to do like a one-day massive build of that, but I need to get around to it. And I kind of feel like I keep like waiting for an occasion and I'm waiting for things to get set up, and then I go like, oh well, something's missing or something's not right, and it's like I should just tackle these problems and solve them and move forward rather than kind of letting time pass me by. But on the other hand, I'm still here, still doing this, still building with Lego a little bit. I've got some mocks that um, I think they're pretty nice. One that I completed the design of and I need to source the pieces for. I have about half of them in my collection already, and maybe the other half I need to source. And then another that's a work in progress, but hopefully I'll finish it in some timely manner. One thing I've been thinking about. I should clean up this area a bit. Let me let me return for a moment with a couple bins from my closet, which is where I have my sorting shelves, and then I'll continue expounding on this question. Kind of nervous about how full some of these bins are actually. Alright, this one. I don't remember if there was a bin where I specifically had masonry bricks, but the bin I've been using turns out for corner plates full, and so I need to put that in probably a bigger bin. And cones one's getting close to dangerously full, and these 2x2 bricks, that has room. That's all right. And then 2x4 bricks full, and I'm just gonna have to make a second one. Some of those larger, more common pieces. Oh, and 1x2 is simple. So some of those larger, more common pieces, I think I'm going to have to, like, either I use 2 of these types of bins for them, or I'm going to have to reconsider and place them in a yet larger bin for better organization. So the 2x4s, I usually stack them up for better compactness. Like the 2x2s, situation's not dire, so as you can see, I kind of have them loose in there. But once it gets dire, I'm gonna have to start stacking these things up, which is not bad. It's actually a really great way to organize them by color. It also means if something happens and I drop the bin, then less of an issue with spilling. So definitely not a bad thing. Just time consuming. And it makes it really easy if I know I'm looking for 6 2x2 bricks, you know, I don't have to like eyeball around. Do I have that? I can see, okay, I've got a stack of white ones. Okay, I know that there's at least 6 on there. It's an easy thing to count. So that's pretty easy and pretty nice. Okay, pull up the... Okay. Back to the shelves with these guys. Probably time to start another bin for 1x2s. Okay, maybe I should actually decompose more sets before I start sorting these things away. The cones, I know that I have a bag just of black cones somewhere because I have too many of those, but I think this won't overflow my little bin to add these orange ones, so that's okay. And then these clips, onto the stack they go. These are pieces, the clips I feel like I used to use a lot more than I do now. And I think part of it was at some point in time early in me building Pokemon, I just was using a bunch of like illegal techniques to connect them. There were simply less pieces available to build nice like arm and leg joints. And now that's kind of changed. Let's see. 1x2 textured bricks I'm keeping here. I don't know what I'm going to do about the 2x4s. And these tiles I can do something about. Also, let me see, because for one of my builds, I'm pretty sure I needed some of this piece. How many did I need? Just 1 in white. Perfect. And 2 in black. I guess I don't have any in black, but I have 1 in white. So I can check that off my shopping list. Great. Great. Always a pleasure. Okay. Let's put these little bins away. And maybe tiles. I'll try and take care of the tiles, and then the rest, let's start going through more stuff. Where do I keep things? Just look at it. Oh, I found it. These are all tiles of length 4 or longer, 1 by 4 or longer, and that probably will have to get split up into 1 by 4s in one bin and 6 and 8 in another. I think at this point 6 and 8 can still stay, and if I acquire a lot of those, then they can be separated. I really wanted to try a diorama type build. There's a LEGO YouTuber who's really popular these days, Hachiroku. I think he was the designer of the bug set, LEGO Ideas Bug Insects set, which is a very cool one. And there's a lot of these diorama mocks, which I think are very cool. And I would be unsurprised if the Star Wars diorama line is loosely inspired by those. Maybe not. You know, on the one hand, he did this diorama mocks, and the way he would do the, like, he would always kind of have this border to them, which was frankly very similar to the architecture line has done for a long time. But maybe there's some idea exchange in there. Who knows? Okay. Let's disassemble this LEGO set. I had bought this as a candidate for a blindfolded build challenge. After I pulled that off for the Parrot, I've become less interested in trying to push the challenge further, but maybe someday I'll try and exercise myself with a yet larger set. So, for now, we can take it apart. I built this actually just last night. It was in the poly bag until then. And this boat stud at the bottom, I know I have boat studs somewhere, but I don't exactly know where. So, one of them I need for a diorama mock that I want to work on. Okay, another boat stud. Always love these types of plates. This little plate, I think I have a couple of these, and they've definitely got some utility to them. They're pretty nice. If you want to articulate things, that's like one of the smallest ways you can go from like stud to bar. I watched some video recently about the general state of LEGO as transitioning to mostly like an adult collector's toy for display, away from like a toy for children and creativity. And now YouTube keeps giving me more and more of those videos to watch. And I think the answer is still somewhere in between, although I will say that even at department stores, like your Targets and such, shelf space is kind of dominated by these like 18 plus line sets. And hey, John boy, you do what? Right now I'm decomposing some Lego sets into pieces and sorting them. Just kind of chatting, just kind of chilling. Not a crazy, I don't know, not crazy profound content over here. So if you're looking for something super exciting, maybe not the day to be here. But if you just want to hang out and talk Lego, then by all means, welcome aboard. Anyways, yeah, I found that there's like, it feels like a lot of shelf space is eaten up by stuff, and I mean, I won't lie, like, I think the architecture line has been one of the nicest lines of sets in the past 10 years. I'm a fan of the botanical lines. I got the bonsai tree really early on. Now they've made plenty more of those sets, and I haven't purchased any more, but I've definitely thought about the succulents one, and there was another one that I've definitely thought about. But it is kind of like shelf space in Lego is becoming more and more dominated by that, and I wonder if that's cutting into like the amount of kids that are getting into Lego. I don't know if that is. I don't know if that isn't. You can still find your sets for play. A lot of them are licensed, but that's fine. By the time I was a kid, that was already Lego Star Wars was kind of just coming out when I was really growing into Lego. So like my first Lego catalogs were 1999, and that was the first Lego Star Wars sets. So for me, there wasn't really a time of Lego before Star Wars, and that was 25 years ago. And since I imagine most of my viewers are probably younger than me, that's like your whole life was Lego Star Wars has existed, and kind of been taken for granted. I think there was maybe like limited, we'll call it licensed stuff before then. I think there were some like Shell gasoline branded sets, and I want to say there was like a McDonald's tie-in at some point. There might have been like a McDonald's branded set once upon a time. Frankly, a long time ago. More of these, but light gray. Nice. Resisted the urge to call it light bluish gray because that's another thing that's like it's been light bluish gray for 20 years now. It's just we can if I say light gray, you'll know what I mean. No one's gonna dig in their collection and be like, oh, I actually like light gray looks a little different. It's like if your collection's old, you will. If your collection's old, you probably are aware of the difference between light bluish gray and light gray. Okay. Well, that was something. Some 1x1s, 2 tiles. I guess I can keep these all together by element. I didn't do this crazy job organizing them, but let's take apart one more. I don't even know what this thing is. Was this from Eternals? Did anyone watch that movie? I feel like I sound kind of like I'm dunking on it. I'm not really a Marvel fan, so I guess in a way I am dunking on it. But I don't watch this. I do think a lot about how some of the pieces that exist now, like so many of the new elements that have been introduced in the past, let's call it 5 years, they've changed the game on just building things, like detailed things. Most new elements are small, and I think Lego likes that because they want elements that are small and very versatile and usable in a lot of sets. Having kind of one-off molds really burnt them at some point in the past. And by some point, I mean like the late 90s and early 2000s. And because making a mold is expensive. So they usually save it for, if they're going to do like a one-off mold, they usually save it for a minifigure that's going to be important. Like a Star Wars minifigure, they'll totally go for it. But like if it's a set, it's like kind of a premier set, all the cost is absorbed by something else, like you might have a really cool minifigure in it. And there are a lot of really nice elements in this set. Like this is what I'm talking about. This element, I don't know when this element was introduced, but a 1x3 inverted tile. Inverted tiles, I think, are like, it might be like 8 years old by now. But when did the 1x3 come into existence? I remember 2x2 inverted tiles and thinking like, oh wow, this is kind of a game changer if you want to make your surfaces like totally smooth on all sides. Which I think is also a direction both sets and mocks have drifted towards. And I kind of prefer a sort of um, blocky. I like some studs exposed, so you remember that it's Lego. I like some amount of that, or at least some part of it where it's clear it's like made out of recognizable Lego bricks. Because some of these things, like if you showed to an adult who hasn't played with Lego, maybe ever, or maybe in a very long time, they might not recognize it as Lego. Like if you show someone something made out of like your classic bricks and plates, they could have never played with Lego themselves, and they'll know it's Lego. Everyone knows what Lego looks like. But it's evolved so much over the years that I don't think all the pieces have the same level of recognizability. It's a pretty cool set. I sometimes watch R.R. Slugger's reviews of retro Lego sets, and that sort of gets me in the mood to build Lego. Um, Although it also it fills me with the desire to collect Lego, and I try to generally resist the desire to collect things. I mean, I can never fully resist it, but I try to limit myself in what things I allow myself to collect, because collecting stuff for it to sit there, it's kind of a degenerate hobby. You collect and you collect, and does it bring you joy? I don't know. I think that hey Jordan, yeah, I'm hoping to post some like real videos soon again, and for now I'm kind of doing this live stream to avoid the perennial upload where I just talk about nothing for 6 minutes. By nothing I mean where I've been, but yeah, I think that it's easy for Lego to be one of those hobbies where you can go on Reddit and post a picture of a couple Lego boxes and say, I just bought these at the store, and you'll get like 1,000 upvotes because you bought like 3 sets that are like cool and expensive. And that's just not interesting content, in my opinion. Like I don't want to try and gatekeep people from Lego, but at the same time, it's like I'm not really impressed by someone who bought things at the store. Like I'm impressed by somebody who I'm welcoming to chat with someone about the joys of building, even if you never make your own creations and you only build things at this, from set. I'm welcome to chat with someone about the joys of that and about some of the building techniques and experience, and which sets are nice and which ones aren't. Um, but I'm most interested in people who build their own creations. Because at the end of the day, like, if I was just interested in the sets that are available, like, I could just buy them. And sometimes I do. Not too often, but sometimes I do. Alright. I don't know what I'll use that tubing for, but hopefully I'll find a use for it. Quite a few of these golden studs, 1x1 plates with a hole in them. This is a piece that's become more common. I think it's existed for a long time, actually, but it didn't really become common until recently. I think it used to be maybe like white was the only color of it that was regularly available. Drop a piece again? No, maybe not. Feels like I did. Okay. And before I go to sorting more, let's go with this dog. I had attempted the blindfold build challenge with this dog, and I got pretty close. But there are a few pieces I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out how exactly the internals of the torso were built. So I failed that challenge. And the upload never saw the light of day. Oh wow. I went and got myself this 1x2 in this orange-brown color, but I didn't need it. Turns out I had it. Oh, I didn't even finish this set. It felt like I was short on pieces. Okay. A lot more in here. For all people were calling this the Among Us piece. I don't know if anyone still calls it that, but it's such a great piece. I mean, having a switch from a stud to a bar or like something that you can clip onto in like a plate and a half of space, or like a stud and a half of space. Incredible. Again, some of these pieces are like game changers. It's hard to understate that, how useful it is if you are interested in building mechs or Pokemon, which I'll probably still build some more of. I was saying earlier on, and I don't remember if the first few minutes of this, I accidentally made it in unlisted stream, so no one was listening. But there's like at least one build I have from 2021 or two, from before like most recent edition of hiatus, that just never saw the light of day. So I'll have to dig around because there might be more of those. There might be like a video or two of just stuff that's currently in the closet that I could make. Okay, how am I gonna take all this apart? Well, this is easy. One of these in teal. That's kind of neat. I wouldn't be surprised if this set is the first or even only set where that piece is available. A lot of interesting pieces and interesting colors here. Okay. Sure, I'll put this here. Okay. Alright, now back to the dog. Also a big fan of this rounded 2x2 piece with the holes, the open studs. That's got a lot of versatility to it. If you want to make any kind of like rounded, articulated, almost anything, it's really useful for that. Useful for building arms, legs, rounded walls. All this stuff is so useful in micro scale, which is my favorite scale. Jumper plates. Oh, where are you? Here we go. I've got one whole bag somewhere that's just rounded plates with printing on them. And I don't even know if I split it into rounded plates with printing, or I might have even further split it into just eyes. I don't really like these cartoony googly eyes that show up in a lot of creator sets. I guess it's better than having like no eyes, like a lifeless look. But I feel like Lego got on just fine without that in the past. I don't know. But okay, sure, fine. Not a hill I'm going to die on. I think they're fine. I don't know how I'm supposed to take this apart. I don't even, because this is so rounded. This is like refusing to expose studs to a degree of fault. So you've got these two inverted slopes. And now I just can't get the pieces out of them. Okay. I think there were some inverted slopes here elsewhere, maybe? Well, if not, we'll start a pile. Ah, yeah, over here. Like, I look at it, and it's still recognizable to me as being built out of Lego, but for some people, I don't know if this is that recognizable as being built out of Lego. I think that older Lego certainly would have had a much blockier style to it, and it's a style that resonates more with me. And again, it's really difficult to delineate whether that's due to a personal form of nostalgia or what I'm accustomed to, or whether it's whether more like most people would agree on that kind of philosophy or aesthetic. And it really is like a design, a build philosophy more than anything else of like, to what extent do I want to approach realism? To what extent do I want to expose studs? And you could say that like, you know, they both have beauty in their own way, a different type of aesthetic. And I just think the one that exposes studs is a little nicer. Sometimes. I make a lot of stuff with pretty smooth surfaces. Like I say this, and it's kind of hypocritical. You'll look at the one of the mocks I worked on recently, and it's one of the smoothest mocks I've ever done. A lot of studs not on top, achieved just to keep smoothness. So, so take that for what you will. Okay, I'm almost done with this little doggy. Brick. These, not sure what to do with them. I think I actually have some in my other pick-a-brick stack. They're 1x5 plates now. Isn't that crazy? The one I had might have been a rounded 1x5, but I'm not even fully sure about that. And again, that's crazy to me. That was like a piece that it was just, it didn't exist almost, I think, because Lego decided, like, we're not going to have it. And it's not that it's a bad thing for it to exist, but it is a surprise. Like, in a way, and like for me being at this point kind of an old school guy, it's like, oh wow, we decided there's going to be 1x5s now. That's crazy. Thought I would never see the day. And again, it's like, for what reason wasn't there a 1x5? I don't know. We had 1x3s. Will we have 1x7 someday? Maybe. Probably not. I mean, we could, but it's less likely. The bigger you get, the less you need that kind of number. A 5? There's definitely a lot of times where 5 would be really useful. Okay, where do I put all these pieces? And should I get anything else out first? Well, at this point it might almost be quicker to bring the whole shelf rather than it would to bring little containers. One by twos, I have a whole bag just for 1x2s because there's so many of them that they can't exist inside one of my shelves. It's too many. They just don't fit. For cheese slopes, I have 2 containers of cheese slopes. It's a container twice this size that is pretty much filled to the brim, and then this is the overflow container. So I gotta rethink that. Probably it's going to be based on color coding somehow, and I'm not fully sure how I'm going to do that. But that's going to have to be the plan, I think, because again, too many pieces of some of this stuff. What else can I put over? first looking around for pieces, or not pieces, but for Lego sorting cabinets, a brand that came up recommended a few times was Acro Mills, and I gotta say I was kind of disappointed with Acro Mills. Um, I ended up needing supplemental containers, and I went to the container store, and they had some brand there that maybe it was their own brand. I don't even remember. But way nicer. With all these containers, I found that these are very flimsy, and most of them had this like plastic. It's like the edge wasn't properly cut or sanded or anything. They had like plastic leftover, and kind of, I don't know, it made them not operate as well as shelves. It felt like a low quality product. It wasn't particularly expensive, but then the container store brand was barely more expensive, and it worked way nicer. So, score 1 for the container store, maybe? Maybe just score -1 for Acro Mills. Don't really understand. These hinges I thought were like kind of retired, but Lego still uses them sometimes. I put just all of those in that container. Alright, some of the stuff, let's start stacking up. The Among Us pieces I might have to keep together. I've started to acquire a lot of these pieces, so it might make sense for me to start stacking them as well to save space. So here we go. What else? Is anyone currently here right now? Anyone want a little preview of some builds that I've been working on? Try and get something a little neat. Maybe I should do it as a picture rather than screen share. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I'll do it as a screen share. I have this games backlog, like the way I spent a lot of my teenage years and young adult years was playing the same handful of games, and that's still true to some extent, but I would slowly start to acquire single-player games that I would put off on playing, partly for the reason that because I would play online games with my friends so much, gaming became a social experience, and playing single-player games alone felt lonely. And even when I still play them, I find a lot of compulsion to talk about them with my friends. And luckily, I have a lot of friends who also grew up playing video games and play a lot of video games, and they're interested in hearing my opinions. I think in some extent, they might live a little bit vicariously through my recaps of the games I've been playing. But a lot of this was stuff that, like, games that I maybe tried or wanted to try as a kid, saw in the rental place and maybe rented them for a weekend, so I made some progress I never had, or games that were regarded as a classic, but maybe were like before my time, or even concurrent with my time, and I just never played. Some of which I still hadn't gotten around, or still had like never acquired, and now suddenly I could play them on like the Switch in the library, or the Nintendo Online library, or um, in some cases, like I did purchase them and then I never got around to them, maybe in like a Steam sale or something like that. So I've got this whole backlog of games, and I'm trying to go through them. And for some of the ones that stuck out at me, I thought it'd be cool to do dioramas. You can see if you have good eyesight, you can see that there's another one I'm working on. I've been playing Warcraft 3 recently. This building is gonna go, but I wanted to kind of try and make a diorama out of that. But I've got this Pikmin 2 diorama going, which I think will be really cool. I'm kind of excited to share that, and I have a lot of the pieces for that already ready. Pikmin 2, crazily enough, I never, as much as I've been like a huge fan of the Pikmin series forever, I had never 100%ed that game until 2021? I think until 2020. No, maybe it was until 2023. Might have been until until last year that I 100% the game. I don't fully remember when I 100% it. I think it was last year actually, which is kind of crazy. Um, I played it a lot. I played through the first half of the game many times. The first like 80% of the game a few times, but I'd never completed like all the caves, done all the stuff. And I thought I should make a little diorama of this. If anyone here cares about Pikmin, Pikmin 4 was very good. Really, really, really good. I enjoy that. Um, okay. What else do I need? What else do I need? I can take some of these 1x2 tiles. The Mixel stuff I keep. Well, I know I had like a bucket where I used to keep all the Mixel stuff. I also take the 1x3 plates as well. Where did I put my 1x2 tiles? Why can't I figure it out? It is a sad state of sorting affairs that I actually don't know where some of my Lego pieces are. It just means that I haven't gone through that shelf in a long time, which is true. Guilty. Guilty as charged. All right, well, let's work with what we've got. I found this container where I had a lot of these inverted slopes. Oh, and these pieces, perfect. I guess I was just keeping these in bags for now. I didn't have enough of them to justify a whole container. The inverted slope situation. Looks like I have some 1x2s in here as well. That's fine. That's the status quo I can afford to maintain a little longer. And then these, I think this is getting big enough to where these can get their own container because I have quite a few of them now. And I have this feeling that that number is going to expand in the future. Okay, many of these layer elements I at least have containers for, but I'm not, yeah, I would have to just bring the whole shelving over. Some of them I don't have containers for, or I don't remember having containers for them. So that's going to be a challenge. Okay, how long have I been going? I'm going for about an hour. Should I delve into the behemoth? Maybe not. Maybe I will. Maybe I will call it for the day. I just wanted a short little stream for fun, for catch up, for an update, for a reminder that I'm alive. All those things in some order of priority. The people who came and went, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed hanging out at least a little bit. And I hope you can keep your eye out for some uploads that'll probably come in the eventual near future.